So my name is Vincent Schonbrodt. My background started with circus when I was 13, 14, started with acrobatic bicycle, grew into that more like amateur sport, you know. From there, I went to the National Circus School in Brussels, did the 2-year cycle there, moved on to the flying trapeze school in Brussels called Atelier du Trapèze in French, where I started catching in flying cradle. From there, I created an act over there at the Atelier du Trapèze. We won at the festival in Tournai in Belgium. From there, I went to the National Circus School in Montreal, and then went back for 1 more year at Atelier du Trapèze. Then I got taken to do acrobatic tryout and the whole creation. While I was in Europe and working with Phil de Block, the owner of Atelier du Trapèze, that's where I started really working with rigging. At the same time, then being a performer, we would do installation for those flying trapeze artist girls that seem to not get on how to install their own equipment. And we build also equipment. So I worked in the welding shop with him and learned on fabrication, design of circus equipment, so on and so forth. Built flying trapeze net as well, flying trapeze rig, swinging trapeze. At O, I kept on working as an artist. I became a very good friend from the assistant head of rigging, who's an awesome rigger in rock and roll rigging, theater rigging, and then grew within Cirque and became a great circus rigger. That guy became the head of rigging of Ka, Iris in Los Angeles as well, and now works for a big production company. So I started learning rigging in O as an artist, started working on chain hoist, started working on theatrical rigging, left O after an injury, went into aviation. When I finished everything in aviation, I was ready to start working as a pilot. Somebody literally knocked at my door, and it was my friend who became the head of rigging of Ka, and they were starting the construction of the Ka Theater at the MGM Grand Hotel, and asked me if I could join as an acrobatic rigger and lead acrobatic rigger. So said yes and moved on back into that world. Did the whole construction of the theater. It was really a project in which the Cirque du Soleil riggers really took care of the construction of the theater, which is not done anymore. Now we really ask for professional firms to do it. And we were really this last crew that really learned everything about really building a theater, installing counterweight systems, and really installing everything that you guys see in the Ka Theater with the electrician, like the building electrician and the iron workers. There was no other stagehand but the rigging crew. From there on, after 1 year of show, I left Ka and became the head of rigging for Corteo. I took Corteo right off, almost right off Montreal after creation. Did a lot of design work on Corteo as well, and worked together with the rigging designer to get Corteo, going. When it gets out of Montreal, it's still a new show, lots of improvement to be made. Became a project manager for Cirque and a head of rigging. Prepared the move of Corteo into the Fuji Dome in Japan. Did the whole touring in Japan. Moved the show back into a big top for Russia. Then did the whole touring in Europe. And 16 years at Cirque du Soleil, and I was ready for other stuff. And during that process, I always worked with Silver State Wire Rope and Rigging, which is a big rigging shop from Vegas, learning on industrial rigging as well. And then I thought of really getting my own rigging shop. So I decided to do this in Brazil, one because my partner in crime is from Brazil, mother of my daughter, and also because the Olympics were there and petrol was booming. So vertical rigging solution got created, and Now you've seen pretty much what it is. We're very much a rigging shop. We got a chain hoist shop. We've got wire ropes wedging. Soon we're gonna have the wrong sling machine producing wrong sling, and then on the side of the company, and a little bit, under the name of Vertical Rigging Solution, I also still do rigging design. Like for instance, right now I take care of a show called Le Noir, head of rigging for them, helping the production manager as well in technical direction. I'm doing some work for Cirque de Soleil right now as well. I'm also doing some work for a show here in Brazil, and maybe a Christmas show in Hong Kong. So right now I got 4 production on my labs basically as a rigging designer. The company here as well works a lot with offshore rigging. We're a training center. We train in fall protection, in rigging, in rescue at height, and we work a lot with pipe-laying ships. So we teach some of the deck operation that happens on a pipe-laying boat prior to throwing all those piping down the ocean. So that's pretty much my background.
So could you tell me a little bit about the event that you've put together here, and also why it exists and what you want to achieve with it?
The idea really came, first of all, with the fact that my heart still remains with circus and entertainment rigging. I really love it. I think it's a very dynamic environment that really requires ingenuity on the side of the rigger or the head of rigging or the rigging designer. So it's really something I do like doing. But I also noticed that there was a need in South America to try to create something, to try to get people together from the circus world and basically do what has been done in Europe about 20 years ago. Now we've got the FEDEC, Federation of European Circus School, and all those things organized. We don't have that here. Obviously, our focus is to do it for aerialists, much more than, I'm not sure it's a place for a juggler, let's put it that way. And the idea, the real concept, is to help artists on 3 sides. The creative side, Alain Veilleux is taking care of this. Phil Debloc, who's the owner of Atelier du Trapèze, is here to help much more with the circus techniques. And I'm there taking care of the safety aspect and the rigging aspect and answering basically questions. This first version is just a 2-day version. We're very conscious that it's too short. We're basically trying to create a need and offering answers so that a new event can be created in 2016, one that would last longer, one that would be better organized. Obviously, this is the first one, and everybody is working for free, so there's a lot of place to grow. I think we're achieving what we want to achieve. I think there's a core of people that is getting organized together, ready to get the 2016 edition in place. So let's just hope for the best at this point.
No, that's really good. So part of the training that you're doing here also is covering some very specific areas of rigging. Are there certain areas that you specialize in more than most other people?
I could say that I have a fair bit of knowledge on synthetic fiber and work with ropes and this type of product. I mean, obviously, the company represents a pretty big brand of rope in the US, here in South America. So as a vendor, I need to have that knowledge. I need to be able to help my clients, but also because I believe that we are slowly moving towards a time where wire rope will get retired and will no longer have use in the entertainment industry, at least in flying people, certainly, and special effects. I do work also a lot with custom solution. So basically project management, taking a project and trying to develop rigging solution customized for that project. We don't necessarily define ourselves as a regular rigging shop that just simply sell you a sling and thank you very much, it's done. If we address fall protection issue, it's most than likely within the full scope of the project, which calls for risk assessment, design, engineering, development, installation, training of the people. So that's a little bit where I would guess vertical rigging solution, and I try to differentiate myself from the rest.
So with regards to this event here, what would your objectives be around rigging and safety over the next few years to do with an event like this?
I really would like to see happening slowly by slowly in South America, see some standard for our industry. Or at least, if not standard, at least a work methodology and some reflex in the way we want to address rigging. A manner that's maybe a little bit more analytical, more than just answering direct needs. I need to do that, bam, let's put the equipment. No, let's look really at the project. Let's identify problematics. Let's try to develop systems that are much more comprehensive, I would guess, and try to see this reflex happening across South America in circus school and companies. My intention is really to work with professionals. I have personally very little desire to work with kids, or I want to be able to address those rigging and safety issues directly with people responsible, owner of rigging, owner of circus school, technical directors of artistic companies, or even creative directors, but to be able to grow this industry in parallel with them.
Thank you very much.
No problem.